When I was still working directly with clients as a certified financial planner, I saw some very, very predictable mistakes. Things that may have seemed reasonable at the time, but aren't the best course of action over a longer term. Now, usually these things start with pretty good intentions, some reasonable assumption. Things like maybe you assume that your expenses are going to naturally shrink after you retire. Maybe you realize that you're behind on savings and you try and make up for lost time just before you go into retirement. Or maybe you're hyper-focused on making sure that your investment portfolio is as high as possible before you pull the pin on work. All reasonable thoughts, but there are some pitfalls. And in this video, I want to look at 3 of the biggest mistakes that I've certainly seen clients make leading up to retirement. We're going to look at why they happen and what you can do instead. So let's start with mistake number 1, inflation. Yes, inflation, but not the inflation that you're probably thinking of. The first major mistake is underestimating how much lifestyle inflation follows people into retire. A lot of people assume that expenses are going to automatically drop once work stops. And yes, some costs do disappear. Things like commuting expenses, they typically go down. Retirement contributions, they stop. Maybe the mortgage is gone. But lifestyle habits, these tend to stick around, and it makes a lot of sense, right? You spend decades building your life around a certain income level. It's often very difficult to just cut that spending dramatically overnight once you've stopped work. Especially, and this is a wild card here, because when people retire, they often discover some new spending categories. Things like travel typically increases, especially early in retirement. Hobbies can become more expensive. Healthcare costs will rise over time. People help children or grandchildren financially. Perhaps most importantly here, it's not a direct expense, but people all of a sudden have more free time. And that can turn out to be surprisingly expensive. Now, another thing you want to consider, there's a tendency for people to picture their retirement in a very idealized way. Things like, quiet mornings, gardening, reading books, taking the occasional modest vacation. What actually happens though, things like golf memberships become a reality. Cruises, vacation properties, RVs in some cases, hobbies that are more expensive than you thought they might be. And a big one here is home renovations. You see a lot of people going into retire, having all kinds of time in their house to look around and maybe to participate in renovating their homes, and that can be really expensive. Oddly now, retirement can become very expensive very quickly. And this becomes even more important if you are retiring early. If you retire, let's say at 55, that means that potentially you're going to be funding 35, maybe 40 years of life without a paycheck. And that is a fundamentally different problem than most people realize when they're making the decision. We think of a portfolio having to survive things like market volatility. I'm going to talk more about that in a moment. And certainly, yes, a portfolio does have to survive the ups and downs of the markets. It also, though, has to survive decades of inflation, healthcare costs that keep going up, spending patterns that shift in ways that you can't fully predict. I'm guessing if you are retired already and you're watching this, you probably know what I'm talking about. And that moves us now to mistake number 2. The second mistake is taking on too much investment risk in the years leading up to retirement because you feel like you need to catch up. Someone reaches their late 40s, their 50s, they realize that they're behind mathematically where they hoped they would be financially. Maybe you started saving a little late, maybe life got in the way, things like divorce, job loss, supporting family members, expensive housing markets you may live in. There are a lot of reasons why people fall behind on those goals. When retirement suddenly feels close, it might still be 10 years away, but you start thinking about it, people are naturally going to start looking for ways to speed up that process. And that is when investors become vulnerable to taking risks that they normally wouldn't take. Maybe they heavily concentrate in more speculative stocks. They might be chasing whatever investment trend is dominating the headlines. Maybe they start investing in products that they don't fully understand because the promised returns sound so attractive. Now, if you feel behind financially, increasing your returns feels like the fastest solution. The big problem here is that the years immediately before your retirement are probably the worst possible time to experience a major loss. You're a younger investor. If you suffer a large decline, of course, you still have decades typically of future earnings contributions ahead. But someone who is 5 years away from retirement usually doesn't have that. And that creates a very uncomfortable paradox. The people who feel the strongest need to take on risks to catch up are often the people who are least able to actually recover from it. And the tendency is to ramp up risk late in the game because you're worried that you're going to fall a little bit short. And I know that that happens all the time. One of the hardest realities in financial planning is accepting that there might not be a painless way of catching up, right? Sometimes the answer, save more aggressively. Maybe not your first choice, but that can work. Sometimes maybe adjusting your retirement expectations a little bit down. Sometimes it may be working a little bit longer. None of these options are necessarily exciting, but if you take on too much risk later in the game, you can permanently alter your retirement plans in ways that are very difficult to recover from. Now, before I move on to mistake number 3, I do want to thank Harvest ETFs for supporting this video. As I mentioned, especially as you get closer to retirement, your major investment goal might not be to chase just the highest return possible. At that point, stability, consistency, cash flow start to matter a lot more. With that goal, I want to take a closer look at the Harvest Balanced Income and Growth ETF. Ticker is HBIG. HBIG is designed as a balanced income solution. It combines Harvest equity income ETFs with their fixed income ETFs in a 60-40 style portfolio. The goal is to provide steady monthly cash flow while still maintaining exposure to long-term potential growth. Just as I talked about in mistake number 2, that balance is important because as retirement gets closer, a lot of investors can't afford to build their entire plan around taking bigger and bigger risks. They still need growth, but they also need a portfolio that can support real life spending, things like groceries, travel, home repairs, helping their family, all the other expenses that don't go away after the paycheck stops. So for retirees, for people approaching retirement, that monthly cash flow focus can be useful because it answers the question, how do I create a more stable income stream from the portfolio that I've already built? If you're starting to focus more on your own retirement income, you can learn more about HBIG and Harvest income-focused ETFs at harvestetfs.com. Scan the QR code on your screen, and I will put a link in the description. Now, let's move on to the third mistake, and this is spending too little time talking about purpose. This is less financial per se, but honestly, I think it is one of the biggest retirement risks that people don't think about. Most people spend years planning the financial side of your retirement, but not enough people spend time about thinking what retirement is actually going to feel like. People will structure their entire lives around work. Work determines your schedule, your goals, your routine, often your social interaction, and in so many cases, it actually determines your own self-worth. And then all of a sudden one day, that structure just goes away. Some people adapt smoothly, but others become lost. And I have seen clients who are financially prepared for retirement years in advance, but emotionally completely unprepared for what it would actually feel like on a day-to-day basis post-work. I can't help at this point to think of one client I worked with. He was well into his 70s because his work truly was his life. Financially, he was in excellent shape, but he could never seem to focus on life after work. He couldn't get to that place mentally. And when the time did finally come, essentially not by his choice, by the way, he struggled. It wasn't about the money. He had lots of that, but he needed something to do. And he struggled mightily without that structure in his life. I did have some clients too who went back to work part-time, not because they needed the income, but because they missed having something to do every morning. They missed that purpose. And there's actually quite a bit of research that shows that retirement satisfaction is tied less to wealth itself, more to whether people maintain their routines, their social connections, hobbies, and have a sense of meaning afterward. And that makes a lot of sense when you think of us as humans. We generally aren't designed to go from a 40-hour work week or more to absolutely doing nothing overnight. Can I afford to retire is the question that most people ask, but the better question is, what am I actually retiring to? Ideally, that question gets answered well before retirement starts. Now, what I saw is the people who did handle the transition best weren't just leaving something behind, they were actually walking towards something specific. So what do we do here? Well, good news is that most of these mistakes are fixable. None of them require getting everything right exactly all the time, but they do require being honest with yourself about where your own blind spots can be. Retirement, like I say, can last 30 years, sometimes more, and the decisions that you make going in are going to matter for a very, very long time. Anyway, these are some of the biggest patterns that I personally noticed over the years. I'd be curious to hear what your thoughts are. For those of you who are already retired, what surprised you the most? What caught you off guard? For everyone else, what is the part of retirement planning that feels most uncertain to you? Let me know in the comments. I look forward to reading those. Once again, thank you to Harvest ETFs for supporting this video. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video.